All right, what's up, guys? It's your boy JP
And David.
back at it again with another podcast. So today we'll be talking about the Last of Us Episode 4 review, our reaction and stuff like that. We did record like 20 minutes of this and totally forgot to turn on the microphone. So now this is number 2. But for those of you guys who are finding us for the first time, quick shout out to our sponsor, OrganFightBooks.com.
Yeah.
You go to them to pick up all their collected edition books, comics, stuff like that. They do great service, great customer service.
Yeah, owner's real cool guy.
Yeah, I could vouch for him. All right, so we're gonna be talking about episode 4. Careful for spoilers if you never watched it yet. All right, so let's get into it.
All right, so we start off the episode with Ellie and Joel driving the truck that they took from Bill, and then they're driving through the countryside or the highways, and it kind of gives you a perspective of what happened to the entire country. Everything's overrun, like you saw how they showed like that FedEx location.
I was like, no, my pallets. I need my mail.
The OPB books are over there. They're still waiting for them. So it kind of just shows you how everything's just being taken over by nature, and I guess humans are sticking to like the cities because these little places are no longer valid, or they can't survive there anymore. And Joel or Ellie's very curious about everything, and you saw her go into the back of the car. She might have had gay magazine.
Oh yeah. I totally forgot about that. And she was like, "Why are the pages all sticky?"
That was hilarious.
When Joel was trying to explain it, she's like, "I'm just fucking with you."
Yeah.
I thought that was really funny.
Ellie has really been growing on me. She's definitely adding that sarcastic funniness to it that Joel is, to his seriousness, it really does balance really well. Yeah. And then they're driving, and then Ellie asks him, of course, his story, where he met Tess, kind of stuff like that. And he's like, "Oh, that's a long story." And they have
25 hours. Yeah.
So he kind of gives her a short little spiel of how him and Tommy. I'm guessing after in the first episode, after whatever happened there, they joined a group. And he kind of, I don't want to say he talked down about his brother, but he's kind of told him his flaws. He's trying
to be a hero,
a joiner. He always tries to be a hero, and how he went to the military, and then now with the Fireflies, that happened. But that's kind of how I met Tess. So so it's kind of I got to meet Tess because of that. But he doesn't. I feel like he doesn't have. Not that he didn't have high expectations of his brother, but he's my brother's such an idiot for just following whoever,
just taking orders, instead of doing stuff yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And then after that, they kind of camp in the woods, and you kind of see how that survival aspect for Joel of you need to not be seen by anybody, and he even says there's no real infected out here. You have to worry about it's humans. And you kind of see that paranoid aspect of Joel. No fires at all because people can see it. The lights are off, and even while you're thinking they're out of here in the middle of the woods, nobody should be able to see them. He's still paranoid, awake.
Yeah, exactly. And one was another thing. I had a question about that. So if the out in the woods is the safest spot away from an infected, why is not a lot of people out there then making camp in the woods and stuff like that?
That's true. I think probably more likely than not, it's because of resources like food and such. Even the city, I'm sure you can find some sort of kitchen that'll have beans or canned stuff.
And then when they drove around, did they see a bunch of wildlife too, a bunch of buffalo?
Yeah, they saw buffalo, stuff like that, which I thought he would have hunted or something like that. But I'm guessing they had food or whatever. So I agree. I guess Joel is definitely used to camping out, stuff like that. Yeah. But most people who would survive, either if they don't have that experience, they're going to try to stick to what they know, which is the cities and what they can get there. He didn't go to sleep even though he was driving. And then I like that part where she smells the coffee for the first time.
Oh yeah, what is this?
It smells like burnt. Yeah. But if you think about it, coffee does smell bad. Just a coffee brewing. And you have to kind of
black coffee, straight up black coffee.
And it's the same thing with beer. Beer is disgusting. People love the flavor. I mean, people love beer, of course. So, it's kind of like you think about how somebody who has never had coffee, they're smelling it for the first time, it'd be like, oh, this is disgusting.
Yeah, just like when you're a teenager and you're drinking alcohol for the first time.
Yeah.
What is this? People drink this stuff?
Yeah, exactly. Or like hard alcohol, bro. Like straight vodka is disgusting, but people are like, yeah, ooh, shots.
Yeah, especially David when it comes to partying. Dude pass out drunk everywhere.
Dog bits too.
Yeah.
Okay, so then they're going, and they reach this, I guess it's like an underpass, which is blocked by a big giant 18-wheeler, and Ellie had been like asking them, like, cause this is her first time in the car, so she's pretty excited about that, and she's asking why the roads are clear like this, and I like how they added that depth of realism where Joel's like, oh well, the military needed to get cars through here, so they kind of cleared the way. So that's why there's more access to it. And you don't think about that because it's true. Like the military they use the highways. Yeah, well, fun fact if you don't know, the highways were actually created by the U.S. military, so in case of an invasion, they can move their vehicles faster on the highways. So that's kind of what they did there as well. And then and one of the points they stop at a gas station, they're filling up there. And, Ellie takes out that joke book because, Joel tells her, you have to stay with me. And she starts saying, dad jokes, which are hilarious. As a dad, I thought they were so funny. Like, I'm going to use some of them for sure.
Yeah.
And so then, like, that kind of, again, shows... I feel like Ellie's not taking it as seriously as Joel. And this episode definitely put that into perspective for her, that it's not all fun and games.
Yeah. I mean, still, she does not have the years of experience. She was catered to and all that stuff ever since, like, she got captured. Yeah.
So it's definitely a different world for her, and it's more of Joel's environment where it's kind of like kill or be killed.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't trust anybody sort of thing. So then, while they're, stuck in that underpass, he sees the way on the other side, so he's like, we're just going to back up and go around it. And, somehow they end up in the city. We had mentioned before, but I'm like, it's kind of like, how do you get lost? Most of the cities are really like, squares, like blocks. So it's kind of hard to get lost, but...
Yeah. We were talking about, like, you could go through the other exit ramp because the other side wasn't blocked, or you could just go along the side where the freeway is because you could go back onto the ramp again.
Yeah.
They got into the middle of the city, which is kind of strange.
Yeah.
But, the plot things for the story.
Yeah.
Anything for the story.
It has to keep the story going. So, something like, we've talked about it before. Some of the decisions are dumb, but it helps the story move along. Okay, you got to do that. So then they end up in the city, and even Ellie's like, "This is my second day in a car. I don't know how to read a map." So that's Joel, trusting her to do that. But she sees a quarantine zone that's been abandoned, and then while they're like kind of looking at it, like some guy comes out and he's like, "Help! Help!" It looks like he's been like shot or something. Automatically, Joel goes into
let me run your ass over.
Yeah, he tells her, "Put your safety belt on," and she's like, "Why don't we help him?" He's like, "Nope," and he like just takes off.
Yeah, trying to run him over. But the funny thing is, like when we were watching it, like so he had to go make a right to run him over into the alley, and instead of doing that, he could have just drove straight and drove away.
Yeah,
So there was that. I don't know why he didn't just drive straight and drive away. But he just tried to run him over and go into the alley when he knew there was going to be an ambush.
Yeah.
So weird.
Or I thought he would have like seen it and kind of hit reverse and just go back because the way back he had been driving was pretty clear, so he could have gone backwards.
Exactly.
Yeah. Again, it definitely moves the story forward, but in a practical sense, it kind of doesn't make sense. You kind of like, even with the tires pop, like he like rams into that building real fast. I'm like, bro. But then these guys are shooting at them. So they get out of the car, and then like again, Joel automatically is like, you need to go in that hole, you need to hide, don't come out of there at all. And he takes out one of the guys. The other guy comes in towards him, he takes him out as well. And then while he's kind of like, checking his gun, I guess, reloading, a third guy comes in through the back, and they start struggling. And he overpowers Joel, and he's like about to kill him, like suffocate him.
Yeah.
And then if you remember from last time, Ellie has his little gun. So she comes out of the little hole and she shoots the guy. Again, that's another little thing we noticed, JK and I, is, practically, the way she shot him, it would have hit Joel. Like,
yeah, like she shot straight to the floor.
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
right. So I was like, oh, it's gonna go through the other guy and hit Joel, but apparently it didn't. But there was that. Another guy was just paralyzed, begging for his life, crying to his mommy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of where like it hits Ellie a lot. Like if you see Joel tells her just go back in the hole, and then when she goes in there, she like is crying like she's wiping her eyes from what she had to do, and then Joel of course kills this guy. And you just kind of see how Joel automatically goes into that badass mode where he's like, I'm going to do what I need to do to survive no matter what.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're begging for your mommy, I'm still going to kill you.
Exactly.
And then they take off, they go running. Another practical thing to me is like he didn't try to get any supplies. We didn't see that really. All we see is he automatically goes to where Ellie's at.
Yeah.
But I thought they would have, grabbed more stuff.
Grab some bullets on the floor, pick up a rifle and stuff like that. Just get yourself geared up for what's coming next.
Yeah. Instead, he leaves all that stuff there. Or from where we know, he didn't reload anything. He didn't grab any ammo.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. They have that little exchange, which is actually really nice, where he sees the gun she has, he takes it from her, and then he's like, "Show me what you can do with it."
Yeah, sure. And teaching her how to grip it and stuff like that. So that was pretty. That's when you know, like, he's finally growing onto Ellie. Like, she is no longer just cargo to him.
Yeah,
what he said at the beginning of the thing.
Yeah, and then you, of course, you saw that a little bit in the camping trip. Like whenever she told the jokes, he was trying not to laugh, but he wouldn't. He's like, in his head, he was probably like, just
yeah.
But like as it go on, he definitely cares for her now. That bond is growing with them, and not only that, because now she kind of knows where he's coming from his history.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, he's learning more about her. Mm-hmm. Like she's not innocent. Like she even said, "I know how to. I've done this before." Like, she's killed somebody, but she doesn't want to talk about it. She doesn't want to go into it.
Exactly.
So then it jumps over to this group.
People.
Yeah, the people of Kansas City, and you see this lady Kathleen talking to this doctor, like asking about some guy named Henry. So this will give you a lot.
Yeah,
she seems nice. She seems like she doesn't want to hurt this guy.
Yeah,
and then like I guess the rest of the group call her over because they find the bodies of the people who got shot by Joel, and I guess she gets mad and she goes and she shoots the doctor just like bah. And then comes back and she's like, "Oh, these guys are Henry called them, so we need to find them and kill them." Mm-hmm. And you see, it's a pretty big group. I thought it was. It looks smaller than it was, but I'm guessing that was like the military or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you see like there's a lot of people living there. Like they're going into the houses and breaking down doors.
Yeah, big army.
Yeah. Well, a lot of trucks. Yeah. And so they're looking for somebody named Henry. At this time, of course, Joel and Ellie decide to go to like this giant, big building.
Yeah.
So while they're kind of heading there, you kind of get a little bit more information on this group, and they find the hideout of where this guy Henry was at, and it looks like there's a little kid with him or something like that. And
because there's a bunch of like drawings of a superhero. I guess his dad being Superman or something.
Yeah.
You see all the canned food, and it's like maybe fresh.
Yeah.
They just ran out of food, so there was that. What was surprising is, like, when she was like, "I'm only going to show this to you," the guy was like, "I'm only going to show this to you." He went down to the basement area.
Yeah.
And you see the floor rumbling.
Yes.
So,
that was, I was waiting for them to give an explanation, but they don't. And then you see that, like, something underneath is growing.
Yeah.
So, like, they close it and they'll, like, seal off the building.
Yeah.
And I guess, I would assume that's your immediate threat right there.
Yeah.
You know what that is. But she's like, no, we have to find Henry. Yeah. So, like, she's very obsessed with this Henry character, but they don't give us any of that backstory.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now it's still kind of like a mystery to us who this guy is.
That might come back to bite her on the butt because, they didn't take care of, like, the actual, like, zombie threat or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So is that something like that? So, like, the ground moving, stuff like that, is that part of the game as well, or?
I believe so, yes. Okay. Like, it kind of gives you a hint of what's coming. Where are you at in the game right now?
I still haven't even passed Frank and Bill. So it's like, is it like a massive horde of like zombies about to pop up from the ground, or like something else?
You know what? I don't want to spoil it for you. I don't want to spoil it. So it's something cool. Like you're gonna be like, what? So definitely, you're gonna have to wait till the next episode.
Okay.
Yeah. But then now we see, it goes back to Joel and Ellie, and then they decide to go up. This huge building. And like it's 45 stories or something like that, and they're going and they get to like 33 where Joel's like done. He's like, bro, I skipped leg day for this, and my quads are killing me. So they decided to camp there, which to me is like it's a good idea. You go high and you pick like a random floor where nobody's gonna unless they search every floor, they won't find you.
What got me is they could have got like, okay, so now we're at the very end, right? But actually, let's talk about like they're finally going to sleep. He's putting glass on the floor so he can hear who's coming in.
Yeah.
And then they're going to sleep, and Ellie tells him the last joke. They finally start cracking laughing. Like you finally see him smiling for the very first time in 4 episodes.
Yeah.
So that was very nice. That way you know that the bond is there.
Yeah.
They're finally like kind of feeling like a family type of relationship.
Yeah.
But what got me is like how he was putting a bunch of glass on the floor so you can hear him. Have that cliffhanger and Henry and whatever his face was showed up and pointing guns in their face.
Yeah.
And that was the cliffhanger. What got me was why didn't they just like barricade the door with furniture, not like the front door, like the very first door that they came into, because all of them are like hotel rooms or something like that, right?
That's true, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So you could you literally barricade the door, put a bunch of furniture on there so nobody could open it out. That way you don't have to put glass on the floor or anything.
Yeah. That actually is a very, very practical thing. So if you think about it, let's say you're running from somebody, right?
Yeah.
In a huge city where it's going to be hard to find you.
Yeah.
You're going up the stairs. You're right. They could have barricaded the first door.
Yeah.
And then where let's say the 33rd door to the emergency, where the stairs are, they barricaded that door.
Yeah.
And then whatever room they just had to stay in, they could have barricaded that. There was 3 ways to barricade it, not just glass.
Exactly.
Because that would have just you'll hear people, but you won't actually stop them from coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And my other question is, especially is how did, out of all these floors and all of these buildings in this entire city, how the heck did Henry and Sam find Joel and Ellie just there? How? That's a pretty interesting question. It's a huge, let's say Kansas City. Let's say, an example, 20 buildings. Let's say each building has 30 stories. It would take easily a couple of hours to search each of those rooms for it. But how did Henry and Sam find Ellie and Joel in this exact room, in this exact floor, in this exact building?
Yeah.
It's kind of maybe they'll explain it in the next episode, but it's kind of like a real, a big plot hole to me is how did they find them so quickly? So that was, we're gonna have to wait to see what happens in the next episode.
Mm-hmm.
But it was very interesting. And if he was in the side that supposedly he could hear from, how did he not hear either the door open or the glass?
Yeah.
Were they already in the room? How did they get in?
Yeah. Usually they would, if they were already in the room, you would assume that they checked every crevice, every corner, and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yes.
So who knows?
Yeah.
Plot.
Yeah.
Plot appearances.
Yeah. Of course, we say we've seen the realism, but we also, I understand it has to drive the story, which is good. They had to have met Henry somehow to make it interesting and not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But besides all the nitpicking, the episode is pretty solid. You get a true understanding of how it is to survive. You can't trust anybody. All the ambushes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
A good sense of what it's going to be like if that fungus does take over in real life.
Yeah, and it kind of shows you as well, this group, I guess they took over after Firma, whatever. What's it called again? Pharma? No, the military is called Ferda, something like that. So this group probably took over from them, but it seems like they're not any better. They're still just killing people randomly. There's not really a system in place for that sort of thing.
Yeah, basically, she just ran them there and shot the doctor.
Yeah.
Could have helped people.
Yeah, exactly. So it kind of just gives you a sense of especially at the end of the world, stuff like that. If rebels take over, they're probably just going to be as worse as the government.
Yeah.
Because unless they have a really good system of checks and balances, it's just whoever's the strongest is going to take over.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So I better hope I don't take over. Just kidding. But besides that, definitely let us know what you guys think. What you would rate this story. What you would rate this episode.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. I'll give it a solid 4 out of 5.
Okay.
What about you?
Yeah, a 4 out of 5, maybe 4.5. I like it because it definitely showed the bond between Ellie and Joel. The other episode was more focused on like Bill and Frank,
Yeah.
which is a great story, like a self-contained
Yeah.
story, but for Joel and Ellie's characters, it didn't really drive them any further.
Yeah.
but
So this one was a good one to build upon their relationship.
Yes, and I'm really enjoying it. Like, the way Joel reacts to Ellie's comments, and just like you can understand, you can see that Ellie has gone through a lot of stuff. Like, that hopefully they'll give us more information, but she's still being very funny and stuff like that. She's not like super serious like survival stuff. All right. Well, another thing is, especially since this one had some good jokes, especially that last one about the diarrhea. JP and I are going to tell jokes. We're going to tell 3 jokes each.
Three jokes.
Yeah, 3 jokes
goodness.
each. See which of us laughs first. You want me to start, JP?
Sure. Go ahead.
All right. Here we go. Where do sheeps go on vacation? Bahamas.
What the heck? That's so dumb. That's so dumb. Alright. I was wondering why the ball was getting bigger. Then it hit me. I gotta find the most dad jokes out there.
Okay. What game do tornadoes play at parties?
What?
Twister.
What do you call sad coffee?
What?
Depresso.
Oh! if you're clinically depressed, please get some help. Okay, I got you.
Okay.
This one made me laugh. Who keeps the ocean floor clean?
Who?
Mermaids.
So dumb. Oh my goodness. That's such a dad joke. That one's
That's
a
a good dad joke.
What do you give to a sick lemon?
What?
Lemon aid.
Got
him.
There you go. Those are
Alright.
the jokes that we chose. Use them. If you guys want to as well. Those are good jokes.
Yeah, we made them up ourselves 100%. They weren't found on the internet or anything. But yeah, definitely let us know what you guys think about this episode. If you're enjoying it so far, I think we only have 4 episodes left, right? Is there 8 or 10?
I'm thinking I'm going to say probably 8.
Okay, so
I'll have to check. I'll confirm with you for the next one.
because we're thinking there's only going to be 8 episodes left, so we're in the second half of the season, so stuff is definitely going to start picking up.
Yeah, they definitely left a cliffhanger that set up the next episode.
Yeah,
as
2 cliffhangers, the one in the basement and then one with Henry and the
And
kid.
Sam, yeah. So we'll see what happens to Joel and Ellie and how they survive through this.
Yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we'll see you in the next episode.